We're géad fáilte hig an tarrant and the cluichí a bheits na grúpi don na Coran Sam Vicir agus an Coran Tailteann. You were very welcome here at Crow Park to the draws for the group stages of the Sam Maguire and Tailteann Cup competitions. We are really excited to find out what the group formations will be, and I'm delighted to be joined by Uachtaráin Chumanú Clascéil Jarlath Burns agus the GAA Director of Club Player and Games Administration Fergal McGill. Fáilte roimh Birch. Jarlath seo do chéadúr a bheith ag deanú an tarrant seo mar Uachtaráin. Cé tá tasú leis aniu?
Well, an céadúil síos scráine tá McDúil go mór leis nach an Yanams a botún sin an famar go bhfuil Fergal díreach an ecolum. A cosúir a duine bí ó chumdaí ar bí tá McDúil leis beidir ar an céadúil síos go mbeidh go seach mar witchery agus an dair od beidir go bhain ar bhatha grúpa Jazz Forest. Ag nílas a go mbeidh grúpa Jazz Forest is tí in sin grúpi chumdaí atás war goramach.
Well, fan go bheith in which. Fergal, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah,
today?
likewise. I mean, I think it's common for everyone across the country will be looking at this, and the first thing they'll be thinking about is their own county. So I'm no different. Leitrim are in the Tailteann Cup, and we're hoping for a good draw.
Yeah, so no pressure then. No pressure on either of you here this afternoon. Okay, so let's just explain to viewers how the draw is going to work. Because as you can see, there's 4 bowls in front of us here. And these bowls contain teams seeded based on their finishing positions in the Allianz League. So Fergal McGill will select 4 teams from Bowl 1, each of which will enter into a different group, starting with Group 1, followed by 2, then 3, and finally Group 4. Then Uachtaráin will select the 4 teams from Bowl 2, which will enter the groups in the same fashion. Once completed, then Fergal will select 4 teams from Bowl 3, which will again enter the groups sequentially, and Jarlath will draw the teams from Bowl 4 and selecting the final participants in each group. Each group will feature 4 teams consisting of a first, second, third and fourth seed. New York will enter the Tailteann Cup at the preliminary quarter-final stage, and just to note that teams who have already played each other earlier in this year's championships can be drawn to the same groups. So let's begin the draw, Martin. So Fergal,
yep, our first team coming out in the Tailteann Cup is a biggie because I can see here it's going to be Kildare.
Yeah, Kildare. This is the first time Kildare are in the Tailteann Cup. They were relegated from Division 2 and lost out to Louth in the Leinster semi-final at the weekend. So on Darna for an Nama.
Yeah, our second team out, Grania, are the top seeds in Group 2, and it's going to be Sligoch.
Sligoch under Tony McEntee almost had a very famous victory against Galway in the Connacht semi-final. On 3 of 5.
So the top seed in Group 3 will be Fermanagh.
Fermanagh, of course, they reached the preliminary quarter-final stage last year and bowed out of this year's championship against Armagh.
And our final team in Group 4, if we're doing things correctly, it should be the Uachtaráin's neighbours, and it is Conte an Doon.
Conte an Doon, they of course were runners-up in the Tailteann Cup competition last year and lost narrowly to Armagh at the weekend in the Ulster Championship semi-final. Okay, and darn about it, Martin.
So siad an céad chumda amuí agus a bheits a gimmert in grúpa a héan Grania na Leitrim.
Leitrim mission
Argal
gained promotion from Division 4 and lost to Sligo in this year's Connacht quarter-final. And Darna for an amuí.
Sin Darna for an amuí a bheits a Galasteach an grúpa a dó na Intrim.
Intrim Arnoy, they reached the semi-finals of the Tailteann Cup last year, narrowly losing out to Meath.
Agus sé an tríthú grúpa amuí a bheits a gimmert an grúpa 3 na Laois.
Laois under Justin McNulty this year, promotion and silverware from Division 4 of the Allianz League, and they of course reached the Tailteann Cup semi-finals last year as well.
Agus an ceathrú for an amuí a bheits a gimmert an grúpa 4 na Uvalli.
Uvalli, and they reached the preliminary quarter-finals of the Tailteann Cup last year. 3 Bala Martin.
Yep, so this is to see who joins Kildare and Leitrim in Group of Hain, and it is Longford.
Longford Arnoy, they reached the preliminary quarter-finals of the Tailteann Cup last year and lost to Meath in this year's round 1 of the Leinster Championship.
And joining Sligo and Antrim in Group of Dó, Lochgarman.
Lochgarman Arnoy reached the quarter-finals of the Tailteann Cup last year and beat Carlow but lost to Louth in the Leinster quarter-final this year.
And joining Fermanagh and Laois are Oisín's Kilwanton.
Well, they had a brilliant win against Westmeath under Oisín. They narrowly lost out to Kildare in the Leinster quarter-final.
And down and Offaly will be joined by the Treaty County Limerick.
Limerick or Noe were relegated from Division 3 in the league and lost to Cork in the Munster quarter-final. So we move on then to our final bowl, the seed 4.
So an Erin Jernach a Golasjach in Grúpa a Chéan, Shishin Port Larriga.
Port Larriga, where they had a terrific win against Tipperary in the Munster quarter-final. Saw them beating their neighbours for the first time since 1988.
Agus an Dara Ferrin Amui a Basic Image in Grúpa a Dó Shin Tibradoran.
Tibradoran, they in Division 4 of the Alliance League this year. They lost to Waterford in this year's Munster quarter-final.
Agus an Trihu Chunde Amui a Basic Image in Grúpa a Tree Shin Caharlach.
Caharlach or Noe were in the preliminary quarter-finals last year, beating New York before missing out to Antrim in the quarter-final.
Agus Vagan Shin Wallismore Yeru and Cahu Ferrin Amui na London.
So London, Noe, Michael Maher's side missed out in the preliminary quarter-final last year. We'll be hoping to go further in the Tailteann Cup competition. So let's just take a recap then of the teams that are in the different groups then for the Tailteann Cup. So we have in Group 1, Kildare, Leitrim, Longford and Waterford. Group 2, we have Schligach, Aintrum, Lochgarman agus Tibradoran. In Group 3, we have Fermanagh, Laois, Wicklow and Carlow. And Group 4 is Doon, Uvalya, Limnock agus London. And the CCCC will be issuing shortly times, venues and dates for those games. So we're going to take a short break for the Tailteann Cup. That's been concluded. We're going to set up here for the Sam Maguire draw. So you can sit back, relax and enjoy a preview of 2 minutes or so of Ratify, the GAA Goes midweek show. So stay tuned, we'll be back with you shortly.
Just felt Ulster was still the one. We were just getting weapons by Armagh and Tyrone constantly. Jim McGuinness came in, and I would say for the whole year we just spoke about Tyrone, how we were going to beat Tyrone.
When Jim came in.
When Jim came in, that was it. It was just Tyrone.
Jim's
first year, 10 was it? Minor in
11
2007.
First senior. And then you came straight into the seniors in 8.
I played latter part of 7 too. I played the
senior when you were a minor.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You played the qualifiers, wasn't it?
Qualifiers in 7. Yeah. Funny story. I made the debut down in Leitrim. I'll never forget it. Didn't touch leather for 20 minutes of the game. The first game. Brian Roper, who was the
I remember.
He was a water boy for us, you know. He literally played FIFA with me, telling me where to run, where to go, but didn't touch leather. Second game against Westmeath, feeling the way into it. Got a penalty after about 10 minutes. Devaney had the ball. Give me that. Gives the ball to Colin. Colin gives the ball to me. And I'm like, dude, I'm not cut out for this. Mustard. Big fucking...
Parenka?
No, mustard. Terrible.
Put the laces through it. These are ones you do.
Laces to the left. Horrible. Halfway up.
You're
the keeper. Nice height.
We played G in a league down in Tralee years ago, and I was having a good game, and I'd say after around 50 minutes Roper comes on and he kicks 3 points off me in around 20 minutes, and I come off to feel what just happened there. Like, I mean, he was a class act.
Yeah, Roper was a good one. We went forward. He was tough as nails now. Good footballer.
I get him my first few years. Then 05, it was Roper. We played in a quarter-final in Clonus, and then went to a replay, and I had him. He wasn't that big, but Jesus, he was solid. Like, there was no, no movement.
Full of energy.
But listen, going back to to us, it was just there was an obsession with the Ulster teams, and that was one that we had to get over. And there's always probably with all the teams, maybe you can see it. There's this. You spoke about a line in the line in the sand. There's one victory, a moment, moment that changes, and for us it was 2011 against Tyrone.
Ratified is, of course, available on the GAA Goes YouTube channel, and you can catch out the latest episode every Tuesday. Hope you enjoy. So we've set up now for the Sam Maguire competition and the draw here. So let's explain. It's very similar to what the draw we had earlier on, as in that we have 4 bowls, and just explain who's in each of the bowls. So the bowl 1 contains the first seeds, which are the provincial champions. Bowl 2 contains the second seeds, who are the provincial runners-up. Bowl 3 is the third seeds, who are the 4 highest placed teams from the 2024 Alliance Leagues who have not qualified for the provincial finals, and they are Derry, Tyrone, Roscommon and Monaghan. And the fourth and final bowl consists of the next 4 highest placed teams from the conclusion of this year's Alliance Leagues: Cavan, Cork, Meath and Westmeath. It is important to note, though, that the teams who are due to meet in a provincial final, these are seeds 1 and 2, cannot be in the same group. However, teams who have already played each other in this year's championships can be drawn to the same groups. Fergal will select 4 teams from Bowl 1, each of which will enter into a different group, starting with Group 1, then 2, then 3 and Group 4. On Tuachtaran then will select 4 teams from Bowl 2, which will again enter the group sequentially. Fergal will select the 4 teams from Bowl 3, which will enter the groups in the same fashion, before Jarlath draws the teams from Bowl Cahir and selecting the final participants in each group. Let's begin then. So, Fergal Bowl 1.
This is our first seed in Group 1, Grania, and it will be either Galway or Mayo.
So Galway and Mayo, of course, are playing in the Connacht final this weekend.
In Group 2, our first seeds will be the Leinster winners, so either Dublin or Louth.
Yeah, so Louth and Dublin will meet for a second successive year on the 12th of May.
And in Group 3, we will have the Ulster champions.
So Ulster, Donegal or Armagh, they're awaiting Anglo-Celt. Armagh hoping to end a 16-year wait. Donegal looking to win it for the first time since
If
2019.
we've done everything correctly, this should be either Kerry or Clare, and indeed it is.
Indeed it
The
is.
Munster
So they
winners.
meet in the Munster final for a second successive year. Bola Ado. So before you start, Jared, actually I should just add, so this is where we might have permutations, and this is where Fergal is going to jump in if the permutations, because as we've already mentioned, the provincial winners, the provincial runners-up, they cannot be in the same group. So shake that around again, Jared.
Agus sé an céad bheirt de Honesty a bheits a gimmert an grúpa a héan a tá gacra a gart na Connacht.
So
Yep. So obviously the Connacht runners-up and the Connacht winners can't be in the same group. So the Connacht runners-up will move to Group 2, and we'll ask Jarlath to pull again from Bowl 2 to see who joins the Connacht winners in their group.
So rís sé an céad bheirt de Honesty na Ulla.
So Aldu an sin, yeah. Kikanella.
And this is for Group 3, Grania, just to note for
Yep.
people at home.
A Golisteach in Group 3 sé na Honesty atá ag teacht ó Wuan.
Okay, so Clar no Curie agus Besagin sin, yeah.
Agus fágann sé sin ceathrú grúpa na Honesty atá ag teacht ó Lion.
Oh, Lion. Okay, so Louth or Dublin, and that of course will be known on the 12th of May. So Fergal, Bowler 3 in
So
it.
here we go, our first seed 3 to join Group 1. And it's a big fish, Grania, I think it's fair to say. It's the league champions, As Contendera.
Yeah, Condadera on Shin, of course, they bowed out of the Ulster Championship with a loss to Donegal at the quarter-final stage. So they're now in Group 1. Group 2,
Group 2 is going to be Roscommon.
Roscommon, under Davy Burke, they will be hoping to put their disappointment of losing to Mayo in the Connacht semi-final behind them.
So joining the Ulster winners and the Munster runner-up in Group 3 will be Tyrone.
Tyrone, yes, they narrowly lost out to Donegal, of course, at the weekend after extra time in the Ulster semi-final. And last but not least,
And Canjarna Conshaw, I think you know who it is, Grania. It's your own county of Moynihan.
my own county of Moynihan is right. So they, of course, got the All-Ireland semi-final last year. They'll be hoping for a similar journey this year. Canjarna Jarlath.
So, a Golisteach in grúpa a héan mar an ceathrú chundé sé sin Irvi.
On Irvi or Noe, Division 3 Allianz League winners, and of course they were the inaugural Tailteann Cup winners 2 years ago.
Sé an darna chundé a Golisteach in grúpa a dó sé sin an Cawan.
On Cowan, they had a great win against Monaghan in the preliminary round of the Ulster Championship and took Tyrone to extra time in the Ulster quarter-final before bowing out.
Agus an tríthú chundé atá Golisteach in grúpa a trí sé sin Corkig.
Corky, of course, had a terrific first half display against Kerry in the Munster semi-final, but it wasn't enough for the rebel county as Kerry got the upper hand in that game.
Agus fágann sé seo an bhí.
On the last year's Tailteann Cup winners, and they of course had a good win over Longford in this year's Leinster Championship before Dublin put an end to that. Okay, so let's recap then on the teams and each of the groups then going forward for the group stages. So in Group 1 we have the Connacht winners, we have the Ulster runner-up, we have Derry, we have Westmeath. In Group 2 then we have the Leinster winners, we have the Connacht runner-up, Roscommon agus an Cowan. In Group 3 then we have the Ulster winners, the Munster runner-up, Tyrone and Cork. And in Group 4 we have the Munster winners, Leinster runner-up, Muinahan agus an V. Lots of games then to look forward to, and as we always know, there's lots of twists and turns along the way between now and the end of the championship. Buchas mór le Jarlath agus le Fergal as a bheith lin mahanta an Shaw Trinona. Thanks for watching. Wishing all the teams the very best of luck in this year's championship. But from all of us here, until next time, slán and take care.